All right, so buckle up because today's deep dive is taking us straight into the world of divine childhood, a collection of stories about, well, the deity Krishna.
We're talking about some seriously captivating narratives here, ones that use those stories to explore, some really profound truths about life and death, even the nature of the divine.
Right, it's not your typical bedtime stories, let me tell you.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking demon nurses and some interesting approaches to getting a taste of that sweet, sweet butter. But that's kind of the beauty of it, right? These stories grab your attention and then boom, they hit you with these profound insights about life, the universe, everything.
It's like they've taken these huge, complex ideas and made them, well, accessible, right? They've woven them into these fantastic stories that are equal parts entertaining and insightful.
Exactly. And that makes it so much easier to grasp those core concepts of Hindu mythology.
Okay, so let's dive into our first story. We've got King Kanza, who's just gotten wind of this prophecy that's got him, well, a little on edge, to say the least.
Just a tad. This prophecy says he's going to be overthrown by, get this, a newborn baby.
Yeah, you can't really blame the guy for being a little freaked out.
Not at all. So naturally, he decides to take some drastic measures. Think he invests in some noise-canceling headphones?
Not quite. He orders the death of, wait for it, all newborn.
Extreme much. Talk about overreacting. But hey, I guess that's what fear and paranoia can do to you, especially when you're sitting on a throne.
I mean, it really makes you think about the lengths people will go to hold on to power, right? But anyway, this is where our lovely demoness, Putana, enters the scene.
Ah, yes, Putana, the ultimate child killer with, shall we say, a rather deceptive beauty.
Seriously, it's like she using her looks to disarm people, to lull them into this false sense of security. Kind of chilling when you think about it.
It's that classic tactic, right? Evil hiding behind a beautiful mask. Makes you wonder about those too good to be true moments in our own lives, doesn't it?
For sure. But the villagers, they're clueless, right? They completely fall for her act, mistake her for some kind of goddess.
The irony is almost painful. They're welcoming this divine being into their homes, no idea she's on a mission to, murder their babies.
Talk about a recipe for disaster. But it really highlights the vulnerability of, well, of innocence, doesn't it? Something that, unfortunately, we still see play out in the world today.
Absolutely. But before we get too dark, let's not forget who Putana's about to encounter, the infant Krishna.
This is where things get interesting. Because Krishna, even as a baby, he's no ordinary child.
Understatement of the century.
Mm-hmm.
This little guy, he embodies divine power from the get-go. This isn't your average baby in the crib, that's for sure.
This is about to get real. So Putana shows up, ready to do her thing, and Krishna, with a single touch, sucks the life force right out of her.
Just like that. Talk
Yeah.
about an entrance.
Yeah.
But it's such a powerful image, right? This effortless victory of good over evil really sets the stage for the kind of deity Krishna is going to become.
It's like, forget crawling and babbling. This kid's out here conquering demons before he can even walk. Safe to say, Krishna is definitely not your average baby. So Putana, yeah, she definitely learned the hard way not to mess with baby Krishna.
Right. You'd think that would be lesson number one in the dealing with deities handbook.
For real. But anyway, Krishna grows up in Gokul, with his loving foster parents, Yasoda and Nanda.
Blissfully unaware, it seems, of King Kanza still lurking out there.
Oh yeah, that whole prophecy thing is not going away anytime soon. But for now, we're in Gokul, and this is where we get those classic Krishna childhood stories, the ones that make you smile and go, wait, did that really just happen?
It's that perfect blend of, the mischievous child and the all-powerful God. Really makes these stories so compelling.
Totally. And poor Yasoda, right. She's about to get a serious crash course in parenting a deity 101.
Talk about a learning curve. So picture this. This demon, Shakat, decides to pay Gokul a little visit. And by visit, we mean, try to crush a toddler with a giant cart.
Yeah, subtle, right? But hey, who needs a housewarming gift when you can bring a death cart? I guess that's just how they roll in the demon world.
Gotta love those housewarming traditions. But seriously, can you imagine being Yasoda? One minute you're worried about your kid eating dirt, the next you're watching him kick away a giant cart like it's a beach ball? That's gotta mess with your head.
Talk about an overachieving toddler. But wait, it gets better. We've got another story, and this one involves a demon, a whirlwind, and, well, a slightly terrifying case of attempted kidnapping.
Okay, first of all, a demon controlling the weather, that's just showing off. But it's an image that really resonates, don't you think? It speaks to that primal fear we have of the unknown, with those forces that are, well, way bigger than us. I mean, let's be real, we're still pretty freaked out by tornadoes and hurricanes today.
Totally. And it's interesting how these stories give a face, a personality to those forces, making them something we can, well, process through narrative, right? But back to Krishna. So this demon, it thinks it can just swoop in and grab him, no problem.
Quick, who's going to stop a giant whirlwind? A baby.
Well, about that, Krishna, completely unfazed, grabs on tight, actually forcing the demon down to earth. And not just down to earth, it's forced to reveal its true and, let's just say, not so pretty form.
You can imagine the villagers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's not a normal baby. It's like trying to stuff a supernova into a shoebox. It's going to come out eventually.
Now hiding that divine light. And speaking of boundless nature, that's a perfect transition to our next story. We're talking Yasoda, some rope, and, well, a whole lot of divine mischief. So we've seen Krishna's power, right? But this next story, this one really shows that playful side of his.
Oh, absolutely. He's quite the mischievous little deity.
So picture this, right? Yasoda, she's trying to, keep up with this, shall we say, energetic toddler.
Which, let's be honest, can't be easy when your toddler also happens to be, a god.
Yeah, talk about a handful. So Yasoda, in a moment of, I think any parent can relate to this, decides, you know what, I'm just going to tie his hands together with some rope. Problem solved, right?
Well, in theory, maybe. But we're forgetting one small detail here. This isn't just any toddler. It's Krishna.
Exactly. And no matter how many ropes she uses, they're never long enough.
It's like trying to tie down the wind, isn't it? There's just no containing that boundless nature, that divine energy.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful metaphor.
It really is. I mean, you've got this ordinary scene, a mother trying to keep her kid out of trouble, and boom, it becomes this profound reflection on the nature of the divine.
It makes you wonder if Yasoda ever realized just how significant those everyday moments were, right?
Right. But okay, get ready for this, because this next one, this one's a little hard to wrap your head around. So Krishna's crawling around one day and, being a curious kid, decides to squeeze between these two massive trees.
Ah, yes, the tale of the two trees. Now, this is where understanding Hindu mythology really comes in handy.
Because these aren't just any trees, right?
Not even close. These were spirits, powerful spirits, who had been trapped in those forms for, well, ages, basically.
Wait, seriously. So little Krishna, just by crawling around, he accidentally frees these trapped spirits.
You could say that.
Yeah.
But it's also about his inherent power, right? Even his most ordinary actions, they carry this incredible weight, this ability to change the very fabric of existence. I mean, he was righting a cosmic wrong and didn't even realize it.
That's mind-blowing. And it makes you think, right? What if those little, seemingly insignificant moments in our lives, what if they hold more meaning than we realize?
Precisely. It's a reminder to approach life with a sense of wonder, of possibility, because you never know what you might find hidden beneath the surface.
I love that. And speaking of hidden depths, it reminds me of another one of Krishna's, let's call them quirks, his love for butter. I mean, it might seem like a small detail, but in Hindu lore, this love for butter speaks volumes.
Ah, yes, the butter bandit himself. It's one of the most endearing things about Krishna. Even deities have their weaknesses, right? It makes them feel more relatable, more human.
Totally. But it's not just about, him sneaking a tasty treat. There's this beautiful story, right? Krishna, he pays this fruit seller for some fruit with, get this, a handful of rice. Sounds like a fair trade, until you realize that when the fruit seller gets home, that rice, well, it's transformed into a pile of jewels.
Talk about a return on investment. But it's the perfect example of Krishna's generosity, that ability to bestow blessings, even in the most unexpected ways. It reminds us that those small acts of kindness, those little things we do, they can have a ripple effect.
Absolutely. And it's a beautiful note to end on, don't you think? Because as we wrap up our deep dive into divine childhood, we've seen it all in Krishna's power, his playfulness, his compassion, even his mischievous side.
He's a complex deity, even as a child, and these stories, they offer such a rich tapestry of Hindu mythology, these profound truths woven into these captivating narratives.
They really do.
Yeah.
So to our listener, thank you for joining us on this journey, for choosing to spend this time with us. And until next time, keep exploring, because you never know what incredible wonders you might discover.